today's basically a continuation of day 2. I'm calling it day 3. We covered Teentaal. And the first thing about Teentaal is you should know how to clap to it. So I think I can kind of position my hands here. So 1, 2. So you'll clap on the first line, then count 2, 3, 4. I should say, first of all, Teentaal is 16 beats. So there'll be 4 lines of 4. Each line is called, hold on, I don't use this word very much, but each line is called a vibhav. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. It's either vibhav or vibhag. But I don't usually, vibhag, sorry. That's what it's called. So each line would be that. One cycle of Teentaal would be an avartan. And so these are kind of more technical terms. I'll say that one more time. Each line would be a vibhag. One cycle of Teentaal is called an avartan. And this last beat right here, also the first beat, which would be here because it's basically played in a loop, that would be called the sum. So that's also going to be important today because we're covering a Tihai. And I'll explain what that is when we get there. Don't want to overwhelm you guys. So that's kind of what we did. Now let me cover the clapping really quickly. So I know my hands are out of focus. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, sum. So like that. All right. Now we have the Kali Bhari system. And this does get a bit technical. I know I'm going over this again, but I might as well explain it. So this line is called the Kali because Kali means empty. In other words, it's not stressed. And by not stressed, it means there's no baya in it. So that's why it's called the Kali. And these lines would be called the Bhari, meaning they are stressed. You see the dhins, as we went over earlier, dhin has ga in it. So those would be the Bhari. All right, and we recap these bols. I'll play each of these just one time, just really fast. Not really fast, but just one time each, so you guys get the idea. Let me full screen this. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay. So first one, taka taka will be taka taka. Tere kitte. Okay. Yeah, I'll get to that just after we're covering one Kaida. Maybe before the Kaida we'll cover that, but in fact, maybe I'll do it at the end. I'll even give you some variations on it that will really help out, and we'll talk about the speed and the part that most people mess up on. There's a whole thing I'll do on tatigene dene. So just stick around for that. So okay. So tere kitte taka taka. So this is now tere kitte is tete kitte basically, but we call it tere kitte. So tere kitte taka taka. And I think the audio is clipping again. So one more time. Tere kitte taka taka. Tere kitte taka taka. Like that. Then we have tere kitte naka naka, which is tere kitte naka naka. Second one, tere kitte naka 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 tere kitte naka. So tere kitte naka 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 tere kitte naka. Then we have dha. Tere kitte tak na. Tere kitte tak. So that's that. I just wanted to play it a little bit faster. Okay, Dha tere kita tak tere kita na tere kita tak tere kita. So it's the same thing, but with just one more tere kita. So dha tere kita tak tere kita na tere kita tak tere kita. Now, if you do decide to speed up after playing for some time, make sure each all has weight to it, especially that last one. All right, so that's right there. Okay. And we talked about powder. Do not throw it on the tabla. Put it on like a dish or something, or if you have the cover is perfect to put it on. Do not apply it directly. And by the way, Jaypreet, I think it'd be great if you sent me a clip of how your dhati gene dhene is going. Play it at 110 on a metronome, and then that'll be a good starting point for me to give you feedback. So go ahead and send that in. Okay, so don't attempt tuning, all right? And we're going to cover the entire Kaida today. We've already done the first 4. These are the notations. This means times 2. This is a short gap, a longer gap, and 1 and 2, we alternate the bols like that. The baya is the bass drum, and the daya is the smaller drum. Now, every time I do this, I forget to tell you about the different parts of the tabla, but we've covered that. Gajra, siyahi, this is called the maidan, but I call it the sur. A lot of people do. So those are basically all you have to know. And these little things, let's see if I can pull one up. Yes, these little wooden block thingies that I can hardly get in the camera, these are called gattas. Okay, all right, so we did that. Baya. All right, so we're starting on this Kaida, okay? And now I'm going to go into day 3. Just make sure we're not missing anything. So that was a recap. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, I've covered this now 3 days in a row, all of this, so should be sinking in for those of you that have seen it. So all of that. Okay, so we're going to do day 1 and day 2. We did that. Check. Finish the Kaida. Awesome, Joshua. Glad you're here. We're going to do understand the map, sum, avartan, vibhag. Covered that. Tihai, how it lands on the sum. And then Q&A. And if you want to send in a clip, Jaypreet, feel free. It'll help with dhati gene dhene. All right. Spacing. We talked about that. All of this. Nothing major. We're sticking with full hand tete. So there could be some mistakes that I could make because I've practiced this with 2-finger tete. It's something that you'll learn later on. Full hand tete is a great way to start. So if I do mess up, this is most likely the reason why. There could be other reasons as well, but that could be one of them. Okay, so Teentaal, 16-beat cycles. Sum is beat 1. Avartan, we did that. We did this. We did the clap. We did Teentaal. I don't know if I played it, but here it is. So like that. All right. Count Teentaal clearly while playing. Stay aware of Kali Bahari clarity first. Don't attempt tuning. Don't put powder. Covered these. Okay. So here we go. We're now going to start on the composition. Now we've already done the first 4. But I'm just going to format it in a way. I've thought of some ways that could kind of help with formatting. By the way, this shouldn't be here. This should be here. Dhage. So yeah, there might be 1 or 2 formatting issues. I'll work with that as we go. So here we go. Dha te te, dha te te, dha te te, dhage tunna kena. Now, really quickly, 2 things that are really important that I want to mention. You're going to look at this composition. You might be overwhelmed. But one thing that you need to be strict about is the na, right? This is what I see with a lot of students. In fact, I just wrapped up with a student at, what is it right now, 9:30? Yeah, at 7:30, I just wrapped up. And they make the mistake of, they get so distracted with all this, they start playing na like this. Look. They start picking this up. And they get the right, they get kind of close to the right sound, but they lose the anchor point, so they're not playing it correctly. So don't let that be you. All right, so we're going to do this, and the baya, really all you have to know, you play 2 almost every time, except on the dha and the dhage. So 1-2 and 2-1. That will be a bit tricky, especially if you're just starting out, but it's pretty useful later on. You'll be already kind of comfortable with alternating on the baya. All right, so here we go. So dha, de, de, dha, de, de, dha, dha, de, de, dha, ge, tun, na, ke, na. Tinna kena, tunna kena, same thing. Now, what I just called na can also be written as ta. Let me zoom in a bit. As ta. And I know that's confusing, but that's how tabla is. So, ta, te, de, ta, te, de, dha, dha, te, de, dha, ge, dhin, na, ge, na. So if there's any questions on that, let me know. We're going to go through these first 4 paltas, and then we'll see what happens after that. Okay. So what I wanted to do was make whenever the main theme comes up, I wanted to change the color or just put it not in bold. I guess that's also another way to do it. So basically what I wanted to do was make it clear to you guys when the main theme comes up. And this also kind of helps with explaining this system really quickly as well, the theme variation cycle. So the way it works is you have a main theme. There'll be variations over it. So the variation is this, the first line repeated twice, then back to the main theme. But with the tunna kena, meaning this is the beginning of the kali. Then the kali will start here. And then back to the main theme. And hinna ghena is the continuation of the bhari. So that's how that works. All right? Nothing too complicated to it, but you'll see this format. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the variations bold, and the main theme will just stay not bold, unbold, if that's a word. Okay, so here we go. So dha, de, de, dha, de. And one thing is, you really, on this one, it may not be a bad idea if you're just starting out, spend a whole week, if you can, just working on the theme. Make sure you have this dha memorized, because later on this will get tricky in the dhage. Make sure that's all memorized, okay? Because here it's not labeled anymore. So like this. So dha, de, de, dha, de, de, dha, 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 de. And remember, it's times 2. Dha, de, de, dha, de, de, dha, dha. Now main theme. Dha, de, de, dha, de, de, dha, dha, de, de, dha, ge, tun, na, ke, na, ta, de, de, ta, de, de, ta, 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 de, de, ta, de, de, ta, ta, dha, de. Back to main theme. Dha, de, de, dha, dha, de, de, dha, ge, dhin, na, ge, na. Simple, very simple. And one thing I will say is the first palta of almost any composition will always be, for the most part, 90+% chance, the first line repeated twice. That will be the most standard first variation of most compositions. Okay, so you have this, you have the na part, the kali. By the way, the kali, some people also teach it as the na part. So now you have a second palta, and I'm just going to make the variation bold and the main theme not bold, so it's clear for you guys. Okay, now this is simple. It's just taking this portion of it and repeating it 4 times. Nothing really too hard to it. Then dha dha. So it would be dha tit dha tit dha tit dha tit dha dha tit dha tit dha tit dha dha tit dha gi tunna ken dha tit ta tit ta tit ta tit ta ta tit dha tit dha tit. Now I'll play it slowly. So we've already done this one, so I don't need to go over it too much, but it goes like this. So dha. Now remember on this dha dha tit. So 1 2. So I'll do that part one more time. So dha. Da da tit dha tit dha tit dha dha tit dha gi dhinna ghena. Now, let's say you're advanced and this all seems too easy for you. One thing that you can integrate is on the dha dha, the 1 2, you can go. So you could do. So like that. You can add more flair to it. In fact, that's how you know someone is advanced, when they can kind of do interesting biomodulation. This actually right here is what I'm trying to say. This is how you know someone is advanced, when they can take a simple composition like this and do beautiful, imaginative bias strokes on it. That's a clear sign that someone really knows what they're doing. Not that they can play fast, although that is one thing. Clarity is another thing. But if you can take anything and make it beautiful with your creative baya, you are definitely advanced. Okay, so we did this. Now I'll highlight. Now this is the third palta. Palta, by the way, is same thing as variation. And bul. Palta, I think, comes from palatna, which in Hindi means to turn things around. So, okay. And that's basically what you're doing. You're taking something, putting it in the front, in the back, stuff like that. So, okay, this one, I'll now highlight the variation. Okay, we have then the main theme here, then this here, the Kali. Okay, so right here. So we have dha tit dha tit dha dha tit, then a pause. So it would go like this. Dha tit dha tit dha dha tit dha tit dha 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 tit dha tit dha dha tit dha gi tunna ken ta tit ta tit ta ta tit dha tit dha 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 tit dha tit dha dha tit dha ge dhinna ghena. Sometimes you may hear me say this as gi. That's how I learned it, but the way these notes are written, ge, gi, same kind of thing. So understand that this is why I paused here on the last time, because I thought that if you don't have the main theme down, you can't play this on beat. It might be difficult for you to understand the pauses. So this is how this one goes. I'll play it like this. So dha tit. Now remember dha da 1 2 and dha ge 2 1. So just keep that in mind. Don't forget that. So here we go. And of course, be strict on the na. So here. Dha dha tit dha tit dha 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 tit dha tit dha dha tit dha gi tunna ken ta tit ta tit ta ta tit dha tit dha 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 tit dha tit dha dha tit dha gi dhinna ghena. Now, one thing that is sort of strange on this one, you may have some trouble with, is dha tit dha dha dha. So that would go 1 2 2. So 1 2. So dha dha dha, like that. And if you're advanced, you can go like that. If you're more advanced, basically I'm just pulling back on the baya. And yes, Ustad Zakir Hussain played this really well. And this composition gives a lot of benefit to your hand as well. This will improve the stability of it. it'll have good flexibility. Let's see. We have a good question. Pratik, how are you? Is it good to do the punching baya technique slide forward for the first two? Man, I feel like all your questions are always about when can I punch forward or pull back. It's so funny. Okay, let's see. Is it good to do the punching baya technique slide forward for the first two? You can do that. This is, let's call this what I have, the textbook way of doing it. But this is an art, and the more you kind of follow the book, I know I am teaching all this. You should be strict about your positioning, of course, but the more you follow the book, it can get boring. So you can do what you are doing. So let's see. You're saying punch forward on the first two. So you're doing, I mean, that's a little bit, it's not bad, but you can't do that when you go fast. So practicing like that might not be good. It's actually a beautiful composition, and it's taken me a long time to realize that. Long time. In fact, to be honest, I only realized that a couple months ago. So that, yeah. Okay. We covered this one with the pause. So that's right there. And yeah, Pratik, so to answer your question, if you play it with punching forward, you can do that. It sounds a bit amateurish on the baya, and the other thing is you won't be able to go fast. So I wouldn't practice it like that for too long. Okay. So this is the variation, and the main theme is left without the bold on it. Okay, this will go. So now there's more pauses, and this we haven't covered, so this is first time for this. So dha titte dha titte dha dha titte dha titte dha dha titte dha titte dha dha titte dhagi tunna ken ta titte ta titte ta ta titte ta titte ta ta titte dha titte dha dha titte dhage dhinna ghena. So I made a mistake. There is no main theme in this, so it can all be bold. For a second when I first read it, I mistook that, but there is no main theme in this. So that's important to know. Not every variation needs to go back to the main theme. In fact, I actually highly recommend whenever you play any Kaida, you at least have one or two variations where it's just without the main theme, because that can get a little bit repetitive. So I like this. Okay, so this will go like this. So like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so this means just a small gap. But later on, we'll come to a dash, and that will mean an entire beat gap. And we'll get to that in the Tihai. We'll be getting there soon. All right, fifth palta, we have a sixth and a seventh and a Tihai. All right? So we're almost done with this. Then, any questions you guys have, we'll answer them. We have one already, dhatigene dene. So we'll answer that. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So, not that this isn't. I actually really enjoy this Kaida. Okay, so now we have fifth palta, dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, titte, dha dha titte. Now this can get confusing, because you may not be used to playing two tete in a row. So tete, but it's not hard at all. Don't let the text fool you. I just taught a class where one student just couldn't wrap their mind around two tete, or maybe it's kind of worded kind of strange. You could put a gap between these two, but this is how it is on here. So here we go. So da tete da tete da da tete tete da da tete. I need to do that one more time because I forgot the 1 and 2 on the da. So one more time. Here we go. Da tete da tete da da tete tete da da tete da tete da tete da da tete da gi tunna kena da tete da tete. One more time. Da tete da tete da da tete tete da da tete da tete da tete da da tete da gi dinna gena. So like that. I'll play that one more time. For some reason, this writing is throwing me off as well. So maybe it is better if we put a space in between. I may edit that before I post the PDF. We'll see. But one more time, I'll speed it up just a little bit. So here we go. So one more time. So like that. I definitely made a few mistakes on that tete, so I can understand if any of you guys have that same issue. And what was the mistake? Basically, I was interpreting this tete, thinking about how better to write it, and then all of a sudden I forgot, oh wait, there's a 1-2 here. So guys, if I'm making that mistake, if you're just starting out, there could definitely be the chance that you're forgetting how to position the na properly. So just be vigilant about that. Keep checking as much as you can on how your na is positioned, and it should be all right. You should be able to teach yourself just fine. So here we go. Now we have some more pauses, and then we'll be wrapping this up. This is basically the last variation, and that'll make sense after this. Even the next variation after this is a bit of an extension of this. So here we go. Dhinna dha tette dha dha tette dha ge dhinna gena dha tette dha dha tette dha gi tunna ken tinna ta tette ta tette ta ke tinna ken dha tette dha tette dha ge dhinna gena. All right, so nothing too complicated to it, just a pause. So okay, I play that a little bit fast. One more time, just a bit slower. I'll also recite at the same time. So dhinna dha tette dha dha tette dha gi dhinna gena dha tette dha dha tette dha gi tunna ken tunna ta tette ta tette ta ke tinna kena dha tette dha tette dha gi dhinna gena. So, like that. All right. So, nothing too complicated. We had dhage, and the opposite would be take. So, nothing too much. So, and then dhaga, taka. There's also another taka here, and I know it. Tabla can be so confusing, but just once you understand the structure that these would be opposites, it'll all make sense to you. Okay, Now we have the last palta, and then I'm going to take out a lera, and I'm going to show you how a tihai fits. All right? So we have this, dinna, dinna, hold on. Let's see. Dhinna. So dhinna. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi dhinna gena. Dhinna. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi dhinna gena. Dhinna. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi dhinna gena. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi tunna gena. Tinna. Dhatitte tata titte taki tunna gena. Tinna. Dhatitte tata titte taki tunna gena. Dhinna. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi dhinna gena. Dhatitte dhada titte dhagi dhinna gena. Man, I am thinking of some good variations you can do here. Okay, on the baya. All right. If we got any questions, no, let's keep going. Okay, so we have this and just a palta. So this can be a bit confusing. Why isn't it just 3 times? Because you're coming back to the bahari, so it would come back like this. This is kind of by design. I've seen people not do it like this, but this definitely sounds good. This is one way of doing it. So here we go. So dhinna, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi. Dhinna. Dhinna, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi, dhinna gen. Dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi, dhinna gena. All right. Now to the Tihai. Where can I find the doc? It will be in the description of this video. I know I should probably post it in the description of the stream, but I as you can see, I'm formatting it while we're doing it. New ideas come to me on the stream, so that's why I don't do that. But if you check back here, I'll have it in the stream, or sorry, in the description. Okay, so here we go. I'm now gonna use my phone, and I'm gonna pull out Lera Box. This, and I'm not sponsored by them. Trust me, I've tried reaching out to them. I don't get any answers. This is a Lera app right here. And I know it's kind of out of focus, but you can see it's out of 16, which is what makes it so good. I want to play it for 1 cycle so you guys get the idea. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know it's boring. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't worry, it's almost done. 13, 14, 15, 16, and 1. So you hear that sound on 1, right? So that right there, this is why that app is so good. And I know that took like 3 years to finish that avartan. By the way, avartan means cycle, so I'm using that term. So anyways, that cymbal crash that came at the 1, that's why this app is so good. If you use any other metronome, it'll just go basically forever without ever telling you where Teentaal ends. So that's why this app is really good. So now we're going to do this Tihai, and we're going to show some Tihai math as well. So Teentaal is 16 beats, and this Tihai will be in 2 cycles, 2 avartans of Teentaal, and it'll land on the first beat. So 2 cycles of 16 is 32, plus that 1 is 33. So each cycle of this Tihai will be 11 beats, so that you play it 3 times, and that'll line up at 33. And every Tihai is always played 3 times. I think it's in the name, if I'm not mistaken. So anyways, it's easier to explain this while demonstrating it, but this will be an entire beat pause right here. I'll try not to do it too fast, try not to mess it up too, but it's very obvious if you got it right or you messed it up, and that's why I'm recommending to use a metronome Lyra app, this particular one, not just any metronome, because then you'll know if you're on beat. So just one more time, this dash means a 1 beat gap. So when I recite this, I'll recite it in double speed. All right, not in single speed. So I'm at 38 BPM. I'm gonna start it. I know it's gonna be a little bit slow. It's not fast, but you'll see how it works. 2, 3. We'll just go through one cycle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Na. Tin. This is Teentaal. Tin. Ta. Ta, dhin, dhin, dha, and dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha, dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhage tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha, dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha, dhati dhag tunna kena dha. So you hear that last dha? I landed right on that first beat. So that's how you know you did it successfully. It landed right there on the first beat. So this has now been completed successfully. This composition can be ended, and you can either end your solo at this point that you're playing. You can go to another composition. You can give a long speech at this point. Basically, what you're playing has reached its conclusion. So I'm going to now play this along with the Lyra, and then we'll wrap up day 3 of beginner tabla. All right? And yes, Tihai means play 3 times. Yeah, I was pretty sure it had it in the word, but just was making sure. Okay, so we're just going to play it. Awesome, man. Yeah, it's pretty easy Tihai, and it'll be in the document. Nice to have your tadpole. So I'm just waiting for it to start. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. Dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. Dha titte, dha titte, dha dha titte, dhagi tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. Dhati dhag tunna kena dha. All right. So in the end, you can also do a little bit of, right there. And right there was actually a good example. I believe I played 2-finger tete. I can do it again with full hand tete, but I just defaulted to that because I was trying to be focused on this. But one thing that you should notice is that I kind of didn't start on beat right there. It's kind of was off beat to begin with, but then I kind of corrected throughout the thing. So a Tihai may not go completely perfectly. You should have a good sense of Teentaal, so that way you can kind of feel where you have to correct. And you'll see even some of the best tabla players, they're having to do a Tihai 4 times, modify it, add a pause, but they know it well enough that they can do the math. It's not really in math, it's kind of more subconscious, and they'll know how to land it on the sum. So that's it right there. Now we have a question: can we replace can we replace the rest beat with ke, or is the rest beat recommended? So you're saying nah, that doesn't sound too good to me, at least. And the reason why this is like this is because if you're just starting out, you want to get a good idea of spacing. So this right here. You wanna get a good idea of how to space this out. The way that I was doing it, and I'm not gonna lie, I did rehearse this one time because I didn't want to on stream find a good speed to do it at. It's way easier to do faster than it is slower. So I've already had found a speed. But basically, the dash, the reason why it's so good is it would just be basically on here, one beat exactly. So when it counts to the next number, so when it goes from 2 to 3, the gap between 2 to 3, that would be what the dash basically represents. So that's it, for day 3 of tabla. And yeah, we finished the remaining paltas. Check. Tihai slow and counted at a comfortable tempo. Check. I got a bit nervous on that, but it's fine. Q&A and clip review if you guys want to do that. So let's see what you guys want. But that's everything I have to cover.